I want to start out by saying this is probably one of the most vulnerable videos that I have ever made, but it's one of the things that I get asked about the most on a consistent basis, and I haven't really talked about it because it is so sensitive and it involves some topics that may spark debate, and that is absolutely what I do not want to do in my comment sections. My comment section is a place for peace and safety, and I just ask all of you to take that into consideration because I will be addressing some things that might be a little hot button. I'm simply here to share my personal journey because so many of you have asked, and because I believe that maybe someone out there needs to hear this. Now, you may not agree with everything I say, and I just ask for kindness. That's the kind of community that we built here, and I know that you guys are good for that. So here we go. This all began November of 2023 when I was live streaming on Amazon and I blacked out for a second just at the end. If I'm being really honest with you, it began before that. But on this Amazon live stream, I kind of got dazed and confused, blacked out for just a second. I didn't know what happened. And then immediately following, I took a trip to the emergency room. And this really set off a series of terrible events and a very difficult recovery. But the truth is, I hadn't been feeling well for a long time, long before the live stream. I was exhausted all the time. Just even going up the stairs was a task. It would wind me. I was drinking way too much caffeine just to push through the day. And I just thought I was tired. What really was my body warning me. But then I also was very dizzy all the time, and I kept having random blackouts. The scariest blackout was I was actually driving and I started to black out. At that point, the doctors told me I shouldn't be driving, so they told me not to drive, which I didn't for about 2 months while I got things sorted out. Plus, I had like constant ringing in my ear, like tinnitus or tinnitus. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. My vision would blur or double. It was like I was having really weird vision problems. I was super nauseated and vomiting, and I was just so sick. On top of this, like my blood sugar was out of control. It would either be low or high, nothing like super crazy, but like high 100s, like 180s, 190s, and then it would dip down, and like there was a couple times it was like in the 40s, which is kind of scary. So I don't know if like my monitor was super accurate either. So but that was kind of a scary situation. But my A1C was completely normal, and I'll get to all the testing I had done in just a second. And then because of this, I was like, what is going on with me? I got super scared, and then came the anxiety, and I had some really bad panic attacks during this time. And this was during the day, during the night. It was just awful. So I was not sleeping and I was not resting during the day. I really felt like I was dying. I was so sick. I've never been this sick in my life. I've had some like long-term like ups and downs. I had been told in the past that I had fibromyalgia and things like this. This was not that. This was like so far beyond. I hurt everywhere. I felt sick. Couldn't keep anything down. It was a dumpster fire. I was just a mess. So this obviously led to multiple ER visits, and then I was admitted into the hospital for observation just before Christmas for a few days. It was like a blur to me. I was there for a couple of days and a couple of nights while they did a whole litany of tests. And I remember one night in the middle of the night, I don't remember if it was the first or second night, they had me on a whole host of drugs, probably just to make me feel better and for like the anxiety and all of that. One night they were taking me to the MRI, and we had to stop because there was a gurney crossing the hallway, and we had to stop and wait for it. And what I saw, you would not believe. It was a dolphin. I'm like, man, I am on a lot of drugs. I must be hallucinating. There's a dolphin in front of me. I turned to the person who was pushing my wheelchair, and I'm like, is that a real dolphin? Because I don't know what to think here. And they're like, yes, it is a real dolphin. You're not imagining that. And I was like, phew, because I thought I was really losing it at this point. But apparently SeaWorld takes some of their dolphins in to the MRIs and have stuff done there for them. So I wasn't imagining it. It was a dolphin from SeaWorld in the middle of the night, and I wasn't going crazy. So I was relieved about that. However, the MRI did not go very well. So they put me in the MRI, and I just remember as it was going that I felt awful. And I've had MRIs before, and I don't really like to hold still. This was different. It made my whole body hurt so bad. And I think I have a reason for that, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. Then they took me back into my room, and not long after this, I don't know what happened, my heart rate spiked really, really high to the point that alarms were going off on the machine, and a whole bunch of medical people descended on my room, started shooting me up with all kinds of things, drugs, like all of these things. And I'm like, this is it. Like I'm gonna die. My family's not here. I thought I was literally going into cardiac arrest, and this was it. It's taken me a long time. I think the last time I shared that I cried. It's taken me a long time to really come to terms with that. It was really scary. And I just remember telling the nurse, tell my family that I loved them and that they meant the world to me. And the nurse was like, you're gonna be fine, I promise. And I was, but it was very, very scary to me. So then they stabilized me and I was good. And they did a whole host of tests while I was there. They could see that I was sick. They could not figure out for the life of them what was wrong with me. I got sent to specialist after specialist after specialist. I had blood work galore, and there was a few things here and there, but nothing that would explain what was going on with me. This is really hard because I couldn't drive, which meant I had no freedom. I had to rely. I couldn't be a wife, really. I couldn't be a mom. I was bedridden. I was so sick. And Lisa drove me from doctor appointment to doctor appointment, and I am so grateful for her. And my husband really stepped in. My mom and daughter came over like the Christmas holiday and took care of me, took care of my family. It was just a really, really bad time for me. This is where things got really, really nuts. And I have not shared this part of the story before because it was scary and I did not want to implicate anybody, and it was horrifying. So I had a fellow content creator that heard about my health struggles, and they reached out to me, and I'm not going to share who it was because for privacy on their sake, but they told me that they believed that they had been poisoned by a viewer, and she had had very similar health problems that I was experiencing, like the weird vision, like all of these things. She said she felt like the nausea, the vomiting, and all of that. And she had had some testing done, and she was full of toxins and heavy metals like arsenic, to the point where she had to move out of her home and get rid of everything that she had. And so she's like, I know you just did this huge service project, which was like the Ronald McDonald Christmas tree project, and you took in all of these packages into your home, and I'm concerned that somebody may have tried to poison you too. You guys, this was scary. This means somebody wants me dead. And that was really hard for my brain to wrap around, and I'll get to that in just a second. But because I was so terrified, I immediately started doing bentonite clay, foot soaks. And the bentonite clay is supposed to draw toxins out of your body. I also started taking chlorella or some other things that are supposed to bind to heavy metals, and then Epsom salt baths, everything I could to pull toxins out of my body. And I will say that once I started doing that, I started to feel a little bit better. But I was really having a hard time processing the idea that maybe somebody tried to kill me. Scary, right? that would give you a little anxiety too, I'm sure. Because I had felt like I had tried everything in the traditional medical community and they were unable to get me any answers. Nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. Yet I was like, I am so sick. This is so not like me to be so dependent, because I am such an independent person. I want to do everything myself. I can do it if somebody else can do it. So this is really hard on me to be so dependent and so bedridden. it was not good for my mental health. It was not good for my soul. And it was just bad. So then I decided I was going to go the holistic route. And so I did a little research online and I came across Dr. Derek Murphy out of St. Cloud, who is a holistic doctor who also was like an osteopath. So he could prescribe regular medicine and he was also an acupuncturist. So I'm like, this guy's perfect. And he had really, really good reviews. This is where everything changed for me. So he did a whole new litany of tests. I'd already done a bunch, but his tests were completely different than I had ever been tested before. And I have learned things about myself that I never even knew about myself. So it gave me a new hope. So here is what I had going on. Like I said, it was multiple things. It wasn't just one thing. I had SIBO. I don't know if any of you guys know what that is. It's spelled SIBO. What it is it's an inflammation and a bacterial overgrowth in your small intestines. That's what it stands for. So I had a very bad gut infection. I had inflammation out the wazoo. Like I was so inflamed everywhere. Actually, if you look back at old videos of me, my face was puffy. Like, I mean, I had gained weight like from, the 2020 to 2023. I had put on a lot of weight, like a lot of weight. I also found out that I had methylation issues, which means my body has a hard time processing excess of a lot of things. It has a hard time processing excess cortisol, excess adrenaline, excess medications, sulfur, like a whole bunch. For example, like if someone gets in a near accident, you get a rush of adrenaline. A lot of people's bodies just process that adrenaline out really, really fast. My body does not do that. So it takes forever to get rid of the excess cortisol and adrenaline and all of that. So that would explain a lot of like the anxiety issues and all of that, but that manifests in many different ways. Most importantly and most scarily, I did find out that I was extremely heavy metal toxic. So by the time I actually did this testing, I had been doing a heavy metal detox for a month. Every day, the bentonite clay, like everything. I had been detoxing for at least a month by the time I had this testing done, and I was still extremely high in arsenic, lead, mercury, maybe I think barium. It was like a litany of things, and my doctor was kind of like, this is kind of weird. Just so you know, usually if you're gonna be like heavy metal toxic, it's usually like in one, not like across the gamut. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this other content creator was right. I've been poisoned. I'm gonna just do like a spoiler alert. I do not think I was poisoned, and I'm gonna get to that in just a second. So I'm like, get these toxins out of me right now. Like I want to heavy metal detox right now. And my doctor in his wisdom is like, if we do a heavy metal detox on you right now with all the inflammation that you have, your gut infection, all of that, it's gonna make you even worse. He's like, what we really need to do is we need to first get your gut health really, really good so it can then tolerate when we do heavy metal cleanse on you. I had a hard time with this. I wanted to do it like all at once, but looking back, it was probably the right approach. Well, I mean, it was the right approach. So the first thing we did was heal my SIBO, my gut infection and the inflammation. This was not easy. He had me on a very specific regimen. I'm not going to share that because I'm not a doctor, but basically like antifungal, antibacterial, but all natural. Also, he had me on a very strict diet. It's called the low FODMAP diet. Basically very, very strict. Even when you're eating clean, there's certain fruits that you cannot have, certain things that you cannot still eat. So obviously no sugar. I got rid of caffeine. I have not drank like a Diet Coke since I got sick. So then I started to feel better. I started going on walks. I started grounding and putting my feet in the grass and breathing the air and just really trying to heal my body. So once my gut was healed, it was time to detox from these heavy metals. My doctor warned me, he's like, it's gonna feel like you're kicking a beehive. You're gonna feel pretty crummy for a few weeks while we detox you, even though you're feeling much better now. He was absolutely right. So this meant like he gave me another very specific regimen of supplements that were like heavy metal binders and like detox supplements and things like that, but also continued with like the Epsom salt baths and the bentonite clay foot soaks. Slowly but surely, I went through this process for like a month or two, I started feeling better and better and better. And I was like, yes. So then also I needed to kind of then deal with some of my methylation issues. So I am on a supplement called molybdenum. I think that's how you pronounce it. And that is one that helps me process some of the, like the sulfur that I can't process, that takes care of that. I found out that I cannot tolerate methylated vitamins when most people out there, like 60% of the population actually need methylated vitamins because their bodies cannot process otherwise. Methylated vitamins are actually toxic for my body. And now I'm on a pretty specific supplement regimen that works for me. But on top of all this, I was going through perimenopause. So like if it wasn't enough for the gut infection and the heavy metal poisoning, I was going through perimenopause. My hormones were whacked and I was just an absolute mess. So I was just like I said, a massive dumpster fire. Oh, and like very quickly, my blackouts stopped. Once I started like healing my gut and doing actually, it was when I started doing like the foot soaks and started my own heavy metal detox prior to partnering up with Dr. Murphy. Ultimately, I drove again and got my freedom. So I want to be ultra clear. If I haven't already, I know I kind of addressed it. I do not believe I was poisoned at all. And I'll tell you why. There were so many people that handled those packages. Lisa was entrenched in unpacking all of these packages and putting all the ornaments and decorating the tree. My family lived in the house and they were like exposed to everything. And there was just so many people that were exposed to these packages that they would have been sick. None of them got sick. I was the only one that got sick. And after talking to my doctors and things like that, we came to the conclusion, and this is where I just ask for a little grace and a little kindness and no debates in the comment section, please, please, please. I do believe that this all started with that injection that everybody was encouraged to get in the years of 2020 to 2023. And I got 2 of those injections. I was traveling. I felt like, I don't know, like an obligation to do it. I never felt good about getting them. I did more research, and there's a lot of research coming out of Yale about these injections. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube or, I was looking symptom after symptom after symptom. It totally aligned, from like the weird vision issues, the nausea, the weird blood sugars, like becoming overly sensitive to caffeine even, anxiety issues, like the whole gamut. The more research I did, is a lot of those were found to have had like all of these heavy metals that I found in my body. So again, I don't believe I was poisoned. I do believe it was from those 2 injections. Also, looking back, I have had some bad reactions to 2 other injections. The tetanus. I had that twice, and I had really weird reactions both times I had that one. So I don't know if it's because of my methylation issues. My body's just not able to process out what it doesn't need in a fast enough manner. So we've been sitting here talking about like what a really rough time this was for me, but I want to share with you an amazing and beautiful miracle that happened through all of this process. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I was born with some congenital heart defects. The first one healed between age 18 and 20. So like from one appointment to like the next appointment, it healed on its own. The second congenital heart defect I had to have heart surgery on when I was in my mid-20s. They went in and closed an atrial septal defect, if you're familiar, like a hole in between the heart. I have like a device in my heart and then eventually heart tissue grew over, encapsulated that. And I've had that in me since I was like 25 years old, and it's held. But the third heart condition that I had, it was pulmonary stenosis. And I was told at my last heart surgery that when I was in my 50s, mid-50s that I would probably need a valve replacement. So then, like during all of this, so last summer I went and had my checkup. I've been seeing a cardiologist since I was a baby, so this was just a checkup. I had an echocardiogram and the doctor was like, we can't see your heart condition. You literally have no more heart conditions. You're no longer a heart patient. They're like, you probably should, come in occasionally just to check out the device that is in your heart, but you are no longer considered a heart patient. Your heart is healthy. This is nothing short of a miracle, and I truly believe that this was a gift from God. I don't want to go like too far into it, but I don't know, like I feel like Heavenly Father was like, yeah, I'm going to give you a real big win because you've been through it, girl. And so, yeah, my heart healed, and I can't even tell you, like I was fully expecting to have like open heart surgery in my mid-50s to have my valve replaced. That no longer needs to happen. So, and I reconfirms this. I believe this was a miracle that I received out of all of this. What have I learned from all of this? And this has been such a tremendous learning experience for me. I now understand my body so much better. The crash that I had at Design Start makes a whole lot more sense now. I was pregnant. I had a ton of adrenaline, ton of cortisol, extreme stress going into that situation. I overdid it and my system simply couldn't have it. So I've learned to pace myself. I've learned to listen to my body to truly care for it in the way that it needs. I've learned what supplements work for me, what other healing tactics work for me. I've prioritized myself a little bit more because sometimes as moms, we put ourselves on the back burner. But what I really learned from this whole process is you cannot give from an empty well. So I'm going to share with you some of the things I'm doing, but I want to be ultra clear. I am not a doctor. I have no medical experience, and this is not medical advice. It's just what has been helpful to me in my journey, and I thought some of you might be curious. I probably won't go into everything, but I'll share some of the things. No caffeine at all. I cannot tolerate it. I cannot drink any caffeine. I immediately feel my heart racing. It gives me anxiety. I just can't do it. I cannot tolerate caffeine. I can't even put like those face creams that have caffeine in it. Can't do it. My body won't do it. Also, I've gone low to no sugar and low to no sulfur if I can. That one's really difficult. Sulfur's in everything. But the molybdenum that I mentioned previously, that helps with that so that I can eat some of those things. So daily probiotics. And then this is not sponsored, but I have found it so tremendously helpful. So Armra, if you're listening, Armra colostrum, you guys, this is so good. The first thing that you drink when you're a baby is generally colostrum, and it's just so good for your immune system. It's good for hair growth. You all, I lost so much hair that I had like a bald spot, like growing hair. And I'm like, oh my word, I'm gonna be bald. I've been on this Armra colostrum for about 6 months, and I'm seeing like all of these baby hairs growing everywhere. And so like my hair's regrowing, it's thickening back up. It's really disheartening to see how much hair was always on the floor, in the drain, and all of that. It was really, really scary. And my immune system is so strong. As I mentioned a few months ago, my husband and I went to the Dominican Republic and we both ended up getting food poisoning. I really feel like this protected me because I got a little sick, but my husband got really, really sick and he was not on it. So like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I have just found so much benefit from Armra colostrum. I feel like it's made my skin look good, along with some other things that I'll get to in just a second. Why not tell them about it now? Like the red light therapy. You guys, I know I've been telling you about the Foreo face mask. They also have some other red light therapy. Just do your own research on red light therapy. It's really good for inflammation. It's been really good for my skin, but that is one of the reasons I really love the Foreo red light therapy face mask. This episode's not sponsored. I do work with them, and I do have coupon codes that you can use if it's something that you're interested in. So a new thing that I've been trying lately, because the one remaining like is I'm really good. I have no anxiety during the day, but for whatever reason, I sleep in a state of like fight or flight. Like that's the best way I can describe it. So I don't always get the best sleep. Like those days that I actually sleep, I'm like, yes, thank you. But most nights I will wake up in like, with a bad dream, in a state of like fight or flight. You can just feel it in your chest. And then I'm like, okay. So I'm still struggling with anxiety, but Mel Robbins says, don't call it anxiety. Just say it's my body trying to let me know that something's off and to not give it power. And I agree with that. On a certain level, your body's trying to tell you something. And I think that that is true. So I've recently started taking GABA in the evening, and I've felt like that's been helping me a little bit, and I've been on it for like a week or week and a half, so I don't think I'm feeling the full benefits of it yet. You guys, I have lost over 30 pounds, and I've done it slowly, and this has really been like a process. So just less calories, eating cleaner. I've been doing Pilates. Yeah, like Pilates. That is another one. I love the Pilates because it is not high impact, so it's not a lot of stress on my body, but it's strengthening. It works on your breathing and your core. And so yeah, 30 pounds. Like I should probably do like a side-by-side here of me about the time I got sick. I'm really puffy, and I feel so much better. So I take magnesium at night. Super important. That helps me with my sleep. Without all of these things that I take at night, I would be a hot mess, I'm telling you. These things that I'm doing are actually really making a noticeable difference. At night, I have started laying on an acupressure mat. You guys, it was so painful the first time I laid on it. I could barely stand 5 minutes. Now I'm up to like almost 20 minutes. And I've been doing this the last couple of weeks, and it hurts, but you actually build up a tolerance for it. All the blood rushes to your back, and then it helps detoxify things. I've been getting massages twice a month, and I feel like that really gets all of that stuff that I'm not able to process, gets it flowing and helps to flush it out of my body as well. One thing that I've been doing right before I go to bed is reading scriptures, and I have found that that has really been beneficial and good for me as well. I mean, gotta feed the soul. When I think I'm gonna have a rough night, I have this like headband that has, it's like a headband with earphones in it. I don't know where I put it, but I put it on and I listen to like really relaxing music on YouTube, the ones that are like nighttime, bedtime music for like 9 hours. And it's like, ooh, it's like really ethereal. That helps me a lot, you guys. Each small step that I've added, I am now, I would say 90 to 95% better. If I could just get the sleep thing down, I would be perfect. But that's the one thing that I'm still working on. So if you have suggestions for me, put it in the comments. I feel like I've tried literally everything, but if you've got something that I haven't heard of, like you could, I'm like an Eskimo that you could sell ice to right now. It's probably not a good thing to admit. If you are still here, thank you so much for allowing me to share this story with you. I haven't opened up about it before because it's been a really long process, to be honest with you, and because it's sensitive, and because I didn't want to start any arguments or debates or anything like that. But I really hope it helps you or someone, and I hope it gives you encouragement, and I hope it shows that you are not alone and that there is hope, and to persevere. I just want you to know that I have felt all of your love, all of your prayers. I especially felt it during that time. I know a lot of you guys prayed and sent me well wishes, and I want you to know how truly grateful I am for you and this amazing community that we have created together. I am almost fully healed, and I am so grateful. So thank you for spending this time with me so I could tell you like where I'm at, the journey, and I hope, like I said, it helps one of you. And just as a reminder that you are powerful. We'll see you next time. Bye.